Most people want to get rich, feel rich, and enjoy their lives. We want nice things, a great house, and we want to travel. So we study hard, we work hard, and we invest in a career that hopefully will get our wants. In fact, instead of getting rich and wealthy, most people will get saddled down with unsurmountable debt caused by bad money management and bad financial habits. And the evidence is all around us. Now, we were doing exactly the same thing, but just 3 years ago we made changes, and now we have a net worth of 7 figures and growing. Now, we've had to change our mindset on money, on debt, and on gratification. But once we understood how to build wealth from zero, everything began to change. It all began understanding the money trap and recognizing that saving is just not enough. And that is where we're going to start. Breaking free. To understand how we build wealth, we first have to reverse engineer how we see money and where we get it from. You see, we're all taught at a young age that when we grow up, we have to get a good job to get a good salary. And the better the education, the better potential for a good job. And some are lucky enough to go to university, continue their education, and have the potential to get an even better paying job. Now, I'm not knocking jobs. I've had them in the past and I was grateful to have them. But you simply can't get wealthy from a job. To build wealth, you need to take a risk and start a business. You can become self-employed and scale. We are not taught these things in school. We are conditioned to get out to the workforce. Our education is centered around that philosophy. But here's the thing. You need to break free of that mindset and change your thinking around money and how you acquire it. Wasting your time year after year chasing after money will not help you achieve your goals, if it is to become wealthy. It took me till I was 47 to realize I was doing it all wrong. So instead of now working for money, now I work for assets. And I do that by developing a business outside of my work. The difference between rich and wealthy. One of the fundamental differences between rich people and wealthy people is that rich people will work for money and the money is finite. And more than that, the money can be lost. The wealthy, however, work for assets. It's the assets that produce the money. If they maintain the asset, it can produce the money indefinitely. But unfortunately, this is not how it often ends up. So the rich's ability to have money is dependent on their ability to work for it. The wealthy, on the other hand, have assets to generate money, and it generates even as they sleep. As Robert Kiyosaki famously said, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Your assets can be on the stock market, small regular contributions made over time to build a portfolio of assets. It can be a business built up from scratch to solve a problem that people have. For us, it's building a portfolio of properties, multifamilies, in markets that have a high demand for rent. As long as the properties are rented out each month, we have cash flow every single month. But every few years, we can refinance that property and take out tax-free money. We get to keep it tax-free because it's produced from debt. And making money from debt is a key principle we use to building wealth. And I'll go into that a little later. But to build wealth from nothing, one of the easiest ways to do it in 2024 is to build a business or a service online. You are immediately connected to millions of people around the world. It couldn't be easier. Developing an income online. Starting a business online needs two key ingredients. You need a customer with a need and you need tools to attract them. Unlike a traditional business that can take massive capital to establish and require expert knowledge, your new online business can be started with nothing but a little time and your desire to succeed. From buying and selling, freelance work, e-commerce, online teacher, the list is endless. According to Forbes, in 2023, $730 billion was spent on e-commerce, with 66% of the world's population connected. That is a huge market. And by starting your business in your part-time and keeping your job and your full income, your risks are minimized even further. You can establish your business without compromising your career or your salary, but once flourishing, you can scale up and seriously increase your income. Eventually, you can scale up even further by leveraging employees and making a return on every hour they put in. And if you continue building your business and striving for success, eventually maybe it'll replace your income and you can go all in. Congratulations, that's exactly how Amazon started all those decades ago. A money-producing asset is the second step to wealth. Soon, you'll be able to start investing, and I've got some ideas on that. But first things first, we're going to start working for assets and not work for money. Not work for money sounds really different. Remember, new mindset around money is key if we're to make the changes that we want. Not working for money. Now, my research on the wealthy and how they got it, the vast majority were self-made. Now, according to Dave Ramsey's solutions, most people believe that the majority of the wealthy inherited the money, but it couldn't be further from the truth. They got out there and they built it from themselves. Now, it could be a traditional startup business or it could be an online business. It could be a business centered around investment properties. But they put in the time and the effort and built it from the ground. For our investment property business, we have a simple model. We look for a rental need and find a property in the area that we can use to solve that need. Usually that property needs a ton of work, but for me, that's the fun part. We do the renovation and we raise the value. We do this to lower the risk to ourselves. When we finish the renovation and we do the cash out refinance, we pay back our investors. The renovations have raised the value of the property and we get to keep the property. We work for assets and not for money. Once the building is occupied and our investors are paid back, the tenants have a new home and we have another asset. And the best thing, in a few years' time, we can refinance that same property and take some more money out tax-free. We simply repeat this process and build a portfolio of properties. But whatever you decide to do, you need to be as comfortable with that as I am with this. And the great thing about cash out refinance is the money you get is tax-free. Just like Robert Kiyosaki says, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Engage with your challenges. Okay, at this point, you're probably thinking about all the blockers and all the problems that are going to be on your plate building your wealth. How do I do this? Where do I get this from? I totally get it. Starting something new is going to throw up some barriers and you're going to have challenges to get over. But as I found my thinking around money had to change, so too did my thinking around my circumstances. The rich and wealthy don't give up, also come to the challenges or barriers. Rather, they see them as valuable lessons to gain knowledge and experience. Get enough of these, and with the right mindset, you're going to start building wisdom. And a wise person is a wealthy one. Breaking down challenges to understand and learn from them, you'll be able to deconstruct and overcome them. And this mindset shift will help you with any problem that comes up and any challenge that's put in front of you. Instead of an issue, it becomes an opportunity to learn and grow, and you will conquer them. A poor mindset will feel overwhelmed, beat down, and under stress. The obstacles will stop them in their tracks, leaving them to become worried and question themselves and their abilities. Don't fall for this, it will wreck your life. This is a pathway to mediocrity and low achievement. Whatever happens, don't let life put a blocker on you. You're better than that. Invest. Okay, so I put this lower down on my list because it's one of the easiest things to do in building wealth. We all know we need to invest to build wealth, and that investment will grow over time with compound interest. The more time we have, the bigger the growth. Unlike changing your mindset or tackling lifelong bad financial habits, investing can be done without making life changes. By using historical trends and a little research, you can invest in the S&P 500 for a good return of 10 to 15% over time. It can be a set and forget strategy, low risk and small contributions building over time with compound interest. You can invest in property like me, building a portfolio of rental units that appreciate over time and produce cash flow. And as we touched on previously, you can also invest in a business and scale it over time. And for people that love a diverse portfolio, you can do what I do and invest in all three. You can take it further and invest in crypto and bonds. After all, diversifying your portfolio minimizes the risks. If one market is going through a tough time, the other markets can hold it up and keep your portfolio healthy. So invest in relation to your risk tolerance. And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Slow and safe is a great strategy to employ. And remember, if you see an investment that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And above all else, don't cheat yourself out of life-changing returns and keep your money in a savings account. You're only making the bank richer and you're making yourself poorer. Nurture your assets. So once you start building paper or physical assets, you're going to have to nurture them over time and make sure they're growing. Remember, once you have a cash flowing asset or one that's appreciating in value, these will grow over time and it will eventually fund your lifestyle. The money from the asset will cover your living costs without declining the value of the asset. If managed properly, it can be an indefinite return. Now in the early years, you can invest more and speed up this process by delaying your gratification. Most people are aware and indulge in instant gratification. It's spending your money on your desires and your wants. It's consuming, and for most people, it's out of control. But if you practice delayed gratification and invest your money in building assets, eventually the assets can cover your lifestyle and pay for everything. Big takeaway, by delaying gratification, you'll get to your financial goals quicker. Your small regular contributions and investments will compound over time and grow. Now remarkably, this goes against most people's conventional habits around money. And if you're serious about building wealth, you may need to be unconventional about a few things. But if you've been broke up until this point, it may not be a bad thing. Get the result. One of the biggest problems I think we have today is we have instant access to everything. We have at our fingertips all of human history and everything around us. And on top of that, we have a million salespeople reaching out from our phones, trying to sell us a course, a business, or how to get rich in a month. We are saturated with information, and wild opportunities on making money. It can be overwhelming, and as our attention gets choppy from opportunity to opportunity, we could get whiplash. So save yourself and your neck and pick a lane. So decide on a route to build wealth, or more fundamental, make money, and stick to it. Don't chop and change, and don't try your hand at 3 or 4 things. Choose one thing and become an expert. Build up your knowledge and your experience while you're earning some money. Focus on the route, go for it, and get the result. Once you're comfortable and you've got a second income coming in, maybe branch out. But if you focus on one route to wealth and make yourself stick to it until you get the result, you will earn valuable experience and become a winner. And you know what? People will gravitate to your success and your mindset shift, and opportunities will arise. So don't be a squirrel and get distracted by the next big thing on the internet. Besides, your new asset needs to be nurtured to grow. Get the result, then move on to another asset. You may be starting from zero, but if you're putting in consistent action with discipline, you'll eventually start to cash flow. And the great thing to bear in mind is the bigger your asset portfolio grows, the more financial freedom it can provide. Thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate you being here. My new video will be here next week, but in the meantime, as usual, I've got a great one here just for you.